Well, happy Friday. Hey guys, I hope you were doing great. Getting ready for the weekend. I'd love to hear what are your weekend plans? What are you doing? We are headed out for a trip, and this is what I want to talk to you guys about today. The power of manifestation on a level that is so crazy that even I am a little like, whoa, what is going on? So, some of you may remember years ago when my daughter was in middle school, I started talking about how I had moved from Colorado to New Jersey with the intention always to kind of move back to Colorado. And so when she was in middle school, I went through this another really bad breakup. And I thought after that, I thought, you know what? I'm just done. I am done. I am just going to stay single for 4 years while she goes through high school because my plan, and I had this whole plan that some of you know about, I was going to live in 8 different cities for her 8 semesters of college. And I knew where I was going to go. I had plotted them out. I had priced them out, what I was going to do Airbnb. And then I would come home when she was on breaks. But it was my opportunity to kind of go travel the country and to experience different places. Well, fast forward, I ended up when I'm like now purposely not wanting to meet somebody, right? Now I've met somebody, we've been together 5 years, and my daughter decided to go to college in New Jersey. Like, what is going on? This was not the plan, right? Now, while this is happening, also, I have a direct sales business that many of you guys know about. And so that business was always really a lot in person. It was, people coming to my home, doing events, dinner makeover nights, things like that and a lot of in-person events, right? So the pandemic hits and the whole business goes virtual, which was wild. Like none of us had ever worked that. We started doing Zooms, all this kind of stuff. It was a crazy time to adjust. And it was actually really, really fun. I really enjoyed learning something new and kind of stretching and doing something I hadn't done before. So we all go virtual. Now all my business is online through my laptop and my cell phone, and I'm loving this, right? So now the pandemic kind of ends. Half of my organization is like, yay, we can go back in person. We're so excited. We can finally be face to face, heart to heart, right? I was like, no way. Oh my gosh. So, this dream that I always had of being able to like totally be remote, travel, be this like digital nomad, right? Actually might work. Like, actually could work. I might actually be able to work from my computer. And this is the power of what you create that you may not even realize you are creating. Okay. So this is what I've been talking about. But then that never happened because I ended up in this relationship, ended up, we moved in together and then my daughter stayed local. And so all of those dreams that I had that I've been like planning kind of just gone, right? So my daughter's in college last year, and I keep saying, well, I want to stay virtual because I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to travel. Now, let's be clear, guys. She did her first entire year of college, and I really didn't travel more than I normally would. Like it was just a regular year. And a big part of it was openly like just the cost of travel. Like it was, I had a kid in college and was investing in another business, and just the cost of traveling was crazy. And tickets were really high. But I keep saying, oh, I want to be able to travel more. I want to be able to travel more. I want to be able to work from my laptop. I want to be able to go. I want to get out of New Jersey and get out of the cold. And I know those of you who live in the Northeast, you love your fall. I know you all. It is like a pumpkin spice latte barfed in New Jersey. Fall is everywhere here. And they're like the beautiful colors. And all I see is winter's coming. Winter's coming. Like it is the most depressing season for me, right? It is not my jam at all. So my fall break comes. I'm like, I'm taking my daughter down to Florida. We're in Florida. And I think I shared with you guys the whole time we're there. She's like, Mom, I hate it here. My hair does not like Florida. And I'm like crying because I don't want to leave the palm trees. Since I've gotten home, I bought two huge palm trees. I have one now here in my office and I put one in the living room. I'm like, I'm just going to bring the palm trees to me. Right. I hope they survive. Say a little prayer they survive. I will say both of them have some brown tips. They were outdoor palm trees. I just got them. And they have some brown tips. So if anybody has any palm tree knowledge on how to keep these little guys alive, drop them in the comments. I'm here for it. Um, they're by windows. So I'll tell you that. They're by windows and hopefully they survive. Praying they survive. So, but here's what happened. This is super wild. So, as some of you know, I've been going up to Boston once a month, and it was an invitation that I received from. It was for a leadership event. You have to qualify to go. It's only top people who can go, and they have to qualify every month. I did it for 6 months. It was really impactful. So I signed up for another 6 months. So now I'm traveling to Boston every month. traveling. And it's a 3-day thing. I stay in Connecticut, I stay with a friend, I go up to Boston, then I come back to Connecticut, and then I come home every month. Then, so Emily and I go. Then we started planning trips for the holidays. It turns out we don't have the kids this year for Thanksgiving. So we're like, where can we go away for Thanksgiving? Then we don't have the kids for New Year's. So we're like, well, where can we go away for New Year's? Then I get invited to another event way out in Pittsburgh. Again, it's like a very exclusive, invitation only. You have to be invited by somebody who's at a certain level in order to be able to go. Huge deal. I was like, okay, I'll say yes to that. Right. And then, and this is a sad thing, my best friend's mother's not doing too well. So I was like, well, I can come out to help you and take care of, help take care of all that with you. And so you're not going through that alone. She's out in California, so I have to go out there. And then Jack gets a work trip. And so now we're going for a work trip. And then in January, I have a leadership conference to go to. And then my daughter says to me, well, what if we go out to Colorado to visit Aunt Chrissy and to go back home again? Now, what's wild is I've been checking airfare, and airfare is like super cheap right now. Like 3 times less than it was like last year. I don't know what's going on, but I'm here for it. And I'm literally like, I have just manifested this. This is like 2 trips or more a month for the next 3 or 4 months so far, from somebody who has been saying, oh, I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to take my laptop and go and travel and on all of this, but has not actually done it. And now all of these opportunities are popping up that are actually creating what I have been saying for a couple of years now. It is crazy to me because I was not seeking out these opportunities. These opportunities sought me out. I was not saying, yes, this is what I want to do. And I'm planning all of this. These things came to me. And I didn't magically reduce the airfare. I wish I could tell you I was responsible for that. I'm totally not. I have no idea how all these stars are aligning. But here's what I do know. What I know for sure. What we speak, we create. Good and bad. And sometimes when we say something over and over and over and over again, we do not understand the magnitude of the power of our words. And this to me, it was like, I've just been saying this for the last year, not doing it, just saying it, I just want to travel more, telling everybody, oh, well, I kept my business virtual so I could travel more and I want to be able to kind of come and go and travel. I'm not going anywhere. Like I'm not coming and going anywhere, right? Let's be real. And now all of a sudden I am. So I will be streaming in with you guys from various places, which I'm very excited about. And then I'm going, how did this happen? How did this happen? And then I had to stop and say, Tara, you created this. You created this. You manifested this because this is what you have been speaking. This is what you have been saying. And I'll tell you something even more wild. I have been saying, oh, I want to get a condo in Florida. I have no idea how that's going to happen. I have no idea how that's going to happen. Financially, I don't know how that's going to happen. Logistically, I don't know how that's going to happen, but I have just been saying it. And now I'm like, well, I guess it's going to happen. Again, I still don't know how. I have no idea. I keep running into people who have second homes in Florida and getting all their advice for places to go and to check out. But and it's funny because this is something that I know, right? I know the power of our words. And yet now I'm getting to actually experience that and the power of my words. So that all that does to me is go, oh, I wonder what else I could say, right? I wonder what else I could say. Because what I also have learned is that I will never say, I will never. And here's why. The reason I stopped saying I will never, and this is crazy. So many of you guys know, I have a Mary Kay business. I started it years ago, right? I found as an adult, years after I was in the company, a journal that I had from when I was 16 years old. And I was lamenting about all of the horrible things that could happen in my life. I was just in a miserable 16-year-old mood, right? And I was talking about like my worst fate. And I actually wrote in my journal that my worst fate was that I was going to be married with a bunch of kids, driving a station wagon, living in suburbia, selling Mary Kay. Here's what's crazy. I didn't know anybody who sold Mary Kay. I didn't know anything about Mary Kay. It wasn't like I had somebody that I knew that I was like, oh, she's got a terrible life. That would be my worst fate. I just, as a kid, this is what I don't even know where I got that idea from. Years later, I find it. I was not driving a station wagon. I was driving a Mary Kay career car, but I was like, oh my gosh, look what I manifested at 16 years old by writing in my journal. Then when I got married to my ex-husband, I said, I will never, ever, ever live in Colorado. I will never live in Colorado. He wanted to live in Colorado. I said, nope, if you want to get married, then we need to live in New Jersey. So he moved back into New Jersey, and a year later, guess where I was living? Colorado. Then we were living in Colorado, and we went to buy a house. And I said, I will never, ever, ever live in Littleton. If we're going to buy a house, we can buy a house anywhere you want, but I will not live in Littleton, because at the time, the only thing people in New Jersey knew about Colorado and Littleton was Columbine. Right. And I was like, I'm not going to go home and tell people I just moved to Littleton, Colorado. So I was like, nope, anywhere you want, we can look. So we looked at houses and we found a house, and I was so excited for the house. I thought the house was in Morristown. Turns out when we go to sign the paperwork, it's in unincorporated Littleton. And guess where I lived? I lived in Littleton. And then, I buy my house, I have my daughter, and I say, I will never, ever, ever move back to Jersey. Never, ever, ever, ever move back to Jersey. Then I said, I will never, ever, ever have a C-section. I was that pregnant person who got a doula. You get all the books, read all the books. I would just skim past the sections on the C-sections, because I was like, I'm not going to do that. That's not going to be me. I will never, ever, ever have a C-section, because my mom had easy childbirth. So I'm going to have an easy childbirth. And I had my doula. I'm having an all natural childbirth. Well, Emily was breech and a C-section. And I remember I would sit in my, they go to the Lamaze classes, and I would sit there and I'd look at all the women. I'd be like, I wonder they'd be like, 1 out of 10 women has a C-section. I'd be like, I wonder who the poor sucker is here who's going to end up with that horrible C-section. It won't be me. My scars tell a different story. And then I said I would never, ever, ever, ever move back to Jersey. It was never going to happen. Everyone was like, after going through Emily's cancer, going through my divorce, move back to Jersey. Never, ever, ever going to go to Jersey. I said that a gazillion times. Guess where I am? So even though I was saying I will never, I was speaking it. I was creating these things through my words. What are you creating through your words? Are you aware of what your words are creating? Are you saying things like, I'm so tired? I'm so tired. I just spoke at a summit, and one of the women there shared this fabulous thing. She said, when people say, how are you? And you say, fine. She said, I don't say fine. I say, I am well, because I am reminding my body I am healthy and I am well. And I thought that was just so brilliant. I am well. I am well. Thank you. Are you saying things like, I'm broke? I'm tired. I'm stressed. I'm overwhelmed. I'm okay. What are we speaking into existence? What are we saying? And it's okay to have the thought. We can't always necessarily control our thoughts, but we do have a choice whether we bring it to existence with our words, whether we manifest it and bring it into creation. And I don't care if you're on the woo-woo manifesting side where you're like, yeah, what I speak, I believe, or if you're on the deeply devout Christian side that you are made in the image of God and God spoke the world into existence. They agree. Both sides agree. Our words are powerful. Our words are powerful. And so it is just wild to me. I'm looking at my calendar going, holy smokes, this is so exciting. It is wild to me how much travel has just popped up. And I truly believe it's literally just because I've been saying it. And with that, as we go into the weekend, what will you talk about this weekend? What are the conversations you're going to have? What are you going to say? What are you going to create in your life? And if you're like, I don't even know, Tara, I don't even know, but I need more of this. If you're like, I need support, I need a community, I need women, I've got big goals, I have big dreams, I've got a business, I've got a book idea, I want to start a podcast, I want to write a book, whatever it is, I hope you come and hang out with me and Hey Girl, You Can. This is where it's all happening. This is where we get together. We have weekly events, we do co-working and networking and Q&As, and we do classes every month. And we just did a class yesterday all about branding your business and how to brand your business and how to brand yourself and why you need a brand. You may think, I don't even need a brand. Do you know that people even want their doctors to have a brand? We all need a brand. You have a brand. If you've got social media, you've got a brand. But this is the kind of stuff that we do in our community, and this is what we want you to be part of. And what happens is when you join, you get access to the whole library. So you get all of the classes that we've done, all of the Q&As that we've done, all of the workbooks, all of the journals, and then everything going forward. So if you're like, I'm looking for a home, I'm looking for a place where I can just feel connected, support, we get a private Facebook group. This is it. This is where you want to be. This is where you and I get to get connected on with all of our members. And I just love our group. I love our women. They're just so fantastic. And I think that's because honestly, I say I attract great women. I say that the women around me are amazing, whether that's through my direct sales company or through the Hey Girl You Can community or whatever community I'm in. I always say I attract great people. That I might not be great, but I attract great people. I might not be great isn't positive, but do you know what I mean? Like it's not all about me. Like it really is that I just am so grateful that I attract such incredible people into my space and into my community. And so if you're looking for that, come hang out with us. It's just heygirlyoucan.com. Heygirlyoucan.com. I want to see you in there. And I will see you next week from a new location because I'll be traveling. Bye, guys.